Welcome to the fourth tutorial where we'll discuss more of the user models and the registration, the login, Google callback and all of that. And so let's go ahead and create the user model. .json, then we import let's create our schema from Mongoose. Then let's create a timestamp so we can be able to go with updating and creating. So for now, let's export our user as Mongoose the model. Then so let's of course our user should have a full name. Let's go ahead and just write the full name. Is it required? Yeah, it should be required. Yes, index it to true. Of course, there should be an email. Is it required? It should be required. Let's index it to true. Lowercase true. Let's put the password. Let's make it this way. And if it's not selected, let's go ahead and make it to false. By default, it should not be selected. When you want to fetch all other items, the password should not be selected by default, except if you select it. So we'll have status of the user. Let's say it's a string. So let's create different status using objects since we are dealing with JavaScript. So I'll do this user. I have patterns, and my pattern is that anything that is exportable, I use camel case, and it must be capitalized as a more of classic way. So I'm gonna say active, disabled, deleted. Yeah, let's keep it that for now. Then let's copy this and set a default value. And say active. So let's keep it simple this way for now. Of course, we're going to have project that the user have prompted. Let's call it, let the type be as the object ID. Of course, we're going to have the user subscription that he has made. So let's say type of object ID. So but for now, let's just keep it as simple as it is. Then we're going to have auth token, auth expiry, and auth OTP. So the auth expiry shouldn't be a string, it should be a date, because the auth token will be used for resetting of password and that of the auth OTP, and the auth expiry will dictate when it should expire. So this is what we have here right now, and I'm going to write a simple code. Like, let's write a hook that will always help us during save to of course the hook has a callback function that accepts the next, what it should do next. So let's just say this dot update that. Of course, this every Mongoose schema has updated that. Let's say it's equals to new date for now. So it should always update it with a new date. Then let's write a schema to always let's write a method to always check if there is a duplicate in email. Let's say that is of course duplicating account. So check duplicate is equals to async function So let's say constant duplicate is equals to await mongoose dot models dot let's say user dot find one. The user is this particular user here as the user model here. Dot find one. Wherever you see email, match it to the email that we have in all other databases, and the instance that is coming in, there is the class object, then and the execute. And if the duplicate was found, let's define an error for it. Let the error be equals to new error. Let's say email already existed, please log in. Then let's come here, bring this in here, and let's say error dot status is equals to 409. That is, there's a conflict. Then let's throw the error. So this should solve the problem. So this will always check for duplicate before the user's data is being saved. So let's go now and have our user controller. Yes, a user controller. Let's constant register user, or let's say sign up. To receive a request, a response, and the next to be called, where the next could be optional. Sorry, the next could be since we were not sure, let's just keep it this way. Then let's leave it the way it is now and come to the root route and import our then you sign up. Sign up controller, and replace it here. Replace it with this very one here. We can clear up this and take it ease one after the other. So that is that here, and we could just go ahead and return await sign up service. It will receive a request, and we can just put a response also, possibly if it needs it, where we have not really imported nor created it. So let's say sign up service from my alarm is ringing. From, let's go back small, go to service slash, let's say sign up, let's say user service dot js. So in our service we are going to create it here. I think that's all it needs. So that is it. So let's destructure our body to contain email and password and a full name from request the body. Then let's create a try and catch. Anything coming from here, let's just say let status be equals to error the status. So let's return the error res dot status, we'll pass it as status here, or replace 500. False message, error message, data should be null. So but here let's import our user and the user status from models, that's user models. So once we import it, we can say user new user is equals to new user here, who pass the email, who pass the password. We say await new user dot check duplicate, which was this particular duplicate that is here. So because it's a method that's connected to our schema model class, so we call it before we say constant account is equals to await if new user dot save. You can say return response of status 201, that is created, success is true, message account successfully created, data we can pass the account. Yeah, but before we pass the account, we need to remove the password for security reasons. So let's say account dot password is equals to null. So return it. So this will automatically show it without the password, and that is all for now. But then one thing there is that it's not gonna hash the password. So let's install. We need to install some stuff to hash the password, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it here. Do it in my user where I'm already doing it, the user model. So let's do something like this here. User schema dot methods dot hash password. So we will check if the password exists and this dot is new, as if the password exists and at the same time the document is new. Let's say this dot password is equals to bcrypt, which is, I've not installed it yet, but I'm gonna import it from bcrypt before I install it, because I think my network connection is kind of disconnected. So I'm gonna install it on the, so let's dot hash sync. We'll place our password right now, and that's all that we need. We don't need async because it doesn't need that, so we just need to hash our password. And for us to do that, we have to go ahead here and await new user dot this. So let's check very well. So if the email already exists, it will throw the status 401, and in this service is gonna be this young man here that will grab it and display it. If it doesn't see the 409, it will throw 500. So let's make this way. I know it exists though. So that is all. So let's in our next tutorial, I think I've made this video is already much, so let's test it in our next tutorial to keep it more simple and easy to understand. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.